I've been married to Michael for 2 years. I was obsessed with him. He hated me. How much did he hate me? I got into a car accident, suffering multiple fractures, and stayed in their hospital for 6 months. As an orthopedic doctor, he never visited me once. No one liked me either. Everyone said I was the one who drove Emily away, that I was heartless. When I first lost the ability to move after the accident, everyone around him felt relieved for him. Michael, you finally have some relief. When I was about to be discharged, his friends were worried for him. Isabella is getting discharged. She's going to torment Michael again. Indeed, the first thing I did after being discharged was to find Michael. But this time, I wasn't there to cling to him. I handed him a document instead. Michael, this is what you wanted. What is it? I smiled gracefully. Open it and see. Michael, I don't want the house or the car. I wish you even more success in the future. We'll never cross paths again. After handing over the divorce papers, I stepped back and disappeared into the crowd. Chapter 1. Nurse. What's going on with the patient in the next bed? Why hasn't anyone visited her? Maybe she's done too many bad things, and everyone's avoiding her. Even in my comatose state, I could hear the conversations around me. But in the dark world of my coma, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't wake up. Finally, after countless attempts, a cup from the next bed clattered to the floor, startling me awake. Oh my, girl, you're awake, the lady next to me exclaimed. I stared at the ceiling above me, unable to move. Miss, I'm sorry. I dropped the cup and startled you awake, didn't I? No, I should thank her for dropping that cup. It was the shock that brought me back to consciousness. No one knows how terrified and scared I was in that dark, comatose world. Chapter 2. The news of my awakening quickly reached the doctors. They came to check on me and said it was good that I had finally woken up. But among the white coats, I didn't see Michael's face. While I was unconscious, I never heard his voice. Now that I'm awake, he still hasn't shown up. Where's Michael? The doctors exchanged glances. Dr. Wang, he's in surgery and can't come right now. Oh, how's my body? When you had the accident, you hit the back of your head, which caused significant bleeding in the brain, leading to your coma. You also have a fractured right arm, a severe fracture in your left thigh, and several other fractures and soft tissue injuries. In short, you were badly hurt. As of yesterday, you've been asleep for 40 days. Fortunately, you were brought to the hospital in time. The bleeding in your brain has been gradually absorbed, and the fractures have been operated on, with casts applied, and you're slowly recovering. Chapter 3. When dinner time came, the lady next to me was feeding her husband and turned to ask me, "Young lady, who is this Dr. Wang you keep mentioning? Is he someone important to you?" "He is my husband." "What kind of surgery takes 8 hours? Your partner wakes up, and you don't even have time to check on them?" I shook my head. "Just an acquaintance." "I see. What about your family?" "The only person taking care of me was a nurse. During my coma, she bathed me, helped me with my catheter. She did everything. I must be the most pitiful person in the entire hospital." I made up an excuse. "They're in another city, and they have health issues, so they can't come. My parents divorced when I was in middle school because my dad had an affair. I was assigned to my dad. My mom was severely affected and moved abroad. My dad is a businessman, always flying between cities. Apart from making sure my pocket money account was full, he never had time to take care of me. Oh, and 3 years ago, he had a son with his new wife." Chapter 4. I pursued Michael. No, it's not really accurate to say I pursued him. Pursuing implies that, in the end, he would have liked me. But even after we got married, he remained cold as ice. He never showed me even a fraction of the tenderness he had for Emily. Maybe if Emily hadn't left, he would have married her instead. Oh no, why is the blood flowing backward? The caregiver who came to bring me food exclaimed in shock. I turned to look and saw that the 4 needle in the back of my hand had a tube filled with blood. The caregiver immediately pressed the call button. The nurse who came was Ava, my former high school classmate. The impatience in her eyes was already written on her face as she roughly tore off the tape from my hand and pulled out the needle. Back then, not many in our class didn't secretly call me a vixen, evil, or accuse me of abusing my power. She replaced the tube and left. The caregiver and the lady in the next bed couldn't bear to see it. The caregiver lifted the food tray, preparing to feed me, and said, "Maybe she's just in a bad mood." No, I noticed she's just rude, particularly to this young lady. When it comes to our old man, she's not so bad. I didn't say anything, just requested, "Please buy me a small table. I'll feed myself." My right hand was still in a cast, and only my left hand was usable. In the past, if Ava had treated me like this, I wouldn't have let it slide. But now, I felt too drained to argue. Chapter 5. When Michael walked in, I was tied up like a dumpling, clumsily eating, using my left hand to eat. I wasn't quite used to it. When he entered, my spoon froze in midair. In that moment, I must have looked pathetic. He glanced at me and then looked at the man in the next bed. "What's going on?" So he was here to see the patient in the next bed. I lowered my head and mechanically continued feeding myself, feeling numb all over. "Doctor, you're here." My husband said. His elbow suddenly started hurting a lot. Michael loosened the man's cast a bit. "Does that feel better?" "Much better. It doesn't hurt as much now," the lady asked curiously. "Did they change doctors? Wasn't it Dr. Lou before?" "He had a family emergency, so I'm covering for him for a couple of days." "I see." "Young man, you look so young. Already working at the 3rd hospital. Quite impressive. Do you have a girlfriend?" Michael dodged the question. The cast was too tight, putting pressure on the elbow, which caused the pain. "In the future, if this happens, call the doctor right away." After dealing with the man in the next bed, it seemed he hadn't left yet. I kept my head down, mechanically eating, when a pair of white shoes appeared by my bed. A nurse came running over. "Dr. Wong, there's an emergency." The white shoes disappeared again. I looked out into the darkness outside and sniffled. Chapter 6. Since then, Michael hadn't visited me. Dr. Lou returned, so Michael didn't need to cover anymore. All of us in this room were Dr. Lou's patients. I heard there was a massive car accident that night, with many people injured. I also heard that Michael went to another province for a medical exchange. When he returned, there was a major fire in the city, and the hospital was overcrowded. Later on, I heard he was sent abroad for further studies. In short, he was very busy. The patients in the bed next to mine changed over and over again. When I could finally get out of bed, I threw myself into rehabilitation training. I was determined to stand up again, to be a normal person, no matter how painful the rehab was. I gritted my teeth and persevered in that rehabilitation room like the other patients. Of course, during this time, I became a joke in my old social circle, the proud, cold peacock, bedridden after a car accident, unable to take care of herself, needing others to do everything for her. Before, we were all medical students at Peking University, but during my internship year, I injured my hand and couldn't become a surgeon, so I gave up the profession altogether. Several of my former classmates had joined the 3rd hospital, but no one felt sorry for me. They just saw it as my karma. After all, everyone believed that I had been the one who ruthlessly forced Emily away, causing her to leave for another country. Chapter 7. Everything is completely normal now. Great job. 4 months later, when I was finally able to walk a normal distance without any equipment, the trainer who had been helping me with my rehabilitation clapped his hands. "Thank you for being there. It's your own strong willpower. Really, your thigh was severely fractured. Yet you're the only person I've ever seen go through this long process without ever crying out in pain." I smiled and didn't say anything. I was discharged. After completing the paperwork, I took a cab away from the hospital. It had been nearly 6 months since I last returned home. I stood still for a moment, my fingers touching the fingerprint lock. I opened the door, and the smell of dust greeted me. Just as I suspected, Michael rarely came back either. I tidied up the sofa and opened the lean pork congee I bought from the shop downstairs. After just 2 bites, my phone vibrated again. Looking at the messages in the group chat, I fell silent. Isabella has been discharged. Wow. She got discharged so soon? Wasn't she seriously injured? She's going to start pestering Michael again. Michael must have owed her in a past life to be stuck with her in this one. Stop it. She's still in this group. If she sees this, watch out for revenge. Oh no. Sent to the wrong group. Quickly. The messages in the group were deleted. I turned off my phone and continued eating the congee. I slept alone that night. Michael didn't come home. At dawn, I lifted my stiff hand, covering my eyes for a moment before getting up and getting dressed. I grabbed the things on the coffee table and left. Just before closing the door, I paused for a moment, taking one last look at the 3-bedroom apartment I had carefully designed. Bang! I shut the door and left. Chapter 8. Outside the orthopedic hallway, I saw Michael. They had just finished their morning meeting, and a group of white coats walked out of the conference room. When he saw me, the movement of flipping pages in his hand froze. The doctors beside him glanced at us and, understanding, walked away. I don't know why, but I managed to smile and walked towards him. Maybe it was a blessing that I could recover and not end up disabled. Maybe I had already let go. His skin was naturally good, and though there was a faint dark circle under his eyes, it couldn't hide his perfect face. He explained to me, "Sorry. Yesterday I had 3 surgeries. By the time I finished, I found out you had already completed the discharge procedures and left the hospital." I nodded and handed him the documents I was holding. "This is for you." "What is it?" His eyes showed a moment of confusion. I shrugged and smiled, feeling at peace. "Open it, and you'll know. It's what you wanted." "Michael, I don't want the house or the car. I wish you even more success in the future. We'll never cross paths again." After handing over the divorce papers, I stepped back and disappeared into the crowd. Chapter 9. At the airport, I took out my phone and deleted the pinned contact. I left the class group chat. I went to a small town. After landing that evening, I showed up at my cousin's place, where she was taking care of her child. "Mama, it's Auntie." My cousin came out of the kitchen and glanced at my suitcase. "Did you have a fight?" "We ended things, but you loved him so much." I gave a bitter smile. Love is a two-way street. When it's just one person giving, it's nothing more than self-deception, and it might even put pressure on the other person. You finally understand that. Silly, he wasn't worth it. Late at night, I was sleepless, sitting by the window and looking at the road below. There was movement behind me. "Why aren't you asleep?" "Insomnia. I'll sleep in a bit." My cousin hugged me and touched my forehead. "How did things go so wrong? Your dream was to be a surgeon, but then you injured your finger, and when you finally found someone you loved, he turned out to be so cold." I stared at the streetlight outside, lost in thought. Tell me, if he hated me so much, why did he marry me? I really don't understand. I didn't force him to marry me. Enough. Forget about him. Live your life. Yeah, I've already decided to forget. I'm planning to settle down here and open a pharmacy. Great idea. Do you need a partner? I can invest. Sure. We both laughed. 6 months later, the pharmacy successfully opened. My cousin and I took turns running the store. Life in this small town was slow-paced, and as time passed, many things in my memory gradually faded away. Chapter 10. One afternoon, Emma brought my phone to me. "Auntie, it's your phone. Good girl. I'm getting married. Will you come to my wedding?" Maria was my only friend from university. "Where is the wedding?" "Definitely in Bayshore. You have to come. You know, I don't have many friends. And if you don't come, I'll feel really regretful." "All right. Send me the hotel address." A year had passed, and some things I had let go of, and others even more so. In the banquet hall, Maria, with half of her makeup done, ran out. "I'm really happy you came." We lightly hugged. "Of course I had to come for your wedding." "Silly. I've heard some things about you and Michael. I know you've left Bayshore. Today is your day. Don't talk about me. Go finish your makeup. The ceremony is about to start." After Maria left, I picked up a glass of red wine, swirled it, and took a small sip. "Everyone's here?" I didn't realize before how influential I am. Even the big shots from the hospital are here. Good thing you picked a weekend. Otherwise, it would have been hard to gather everyone. Look, even the usually busy Michael made it. The conversation at the entrance reached my ears, and the wine in my mouth turned slightly bitter. I hadn't known that David had also transferred to the third hospital, and many from the third hospital were here today. I looked over, and for a moment, my eyes met Michael's. Michael, what are you looking at? Everyone noticed me then. There were several surprised glances. Michael withdrew his gaze and took out his wallet to give a gift. When I saw who stood next to him, ready to give a gift as well, even though I had prepared myself mentally, I still froze for a moment. Emily was back, but it was only for a moment. I looked away, focusing on the wisteria flowers hanging outside the window, and as the wind blew, those knots in my heart seemed to disappear as well. Since entering university, people had always said they were a match made in heaven. Now, from their perspective, it seemed they had finally found their happy ending. The wedding banquet began, and everyone took their seats. The people from the third hospital were seated together at one table. Today's groom is a doctor at the third hospital. Doctors are really in demand these days. Did you see? The table next to us is full of the groom's colleagues. If anyone has a single daughter at home, better go ask for their WeChat. Too bad. The most handsome doctor seems to be taken already. The girl sitting next to him should be his girlfriend. The music started, and the wedding ceremony began. After the ceremony and banquet, everyone started to leave. I heard footsteps approaching. A year has passed, and if it weren't for Maria's wedding, you weren't planning to come back. To my surprise, Michael walked over with a glass of wine. He was dressed in a black suit, exuding an unmistakable aura. I hadn't expected him to come over and greet me. We locked eyes. Come back? I don't have a home here. No. Home? I noticed Emily looking over, worry evident in her eyes. I picked up a dessert. Sorry, but we don't seem to have anything to talk about. I left the dessert table. I checked the time and planned to say goodbye to Maria when she came out and then leave. You're leaving already? We haven't even talked yet. Seeing you happy makes me happy. Maria grabbed my hand and glanced at Michael and Emily. Are you leaving because of them? Sorry, I didn't tell you that people from the third hospital might be here. It's okay. I've already moved on. They won't affect me. Chapter 11. As I left the hotel, I hailed a cab to the airport. Isabella, where are you going? Just as I was about to get into the taxi, my arm was suddenly grabbed. Startled, I turned around to see Michael. The air grew tense. Don't go. What are you doing? I need to catch my flight. Are you getting in or not? The taxi driver called out impatiently. Michael spoke to the driver. Sorry, we're not going. Not going? Then why call a cab and waste my time? The taxi driver cursed as he drove away. I looked at Emily, standing not far away, her face pale, then turned back to Michael, confused. What do you mean by this? He tightened his grip on my arm. What do you mean? We're still legally married. Where are you planning to go alone? I never signed those divorce papers. My expression tightened. You're hurting me. He realized it and loosened his grip. Chapter 12. The hotel entrance wasn't the place to talk. He drove us to the seaside. I rolled down the window, looking out at the vast sea. The salty scent of the ocean filled the air. Why didn't you sign? Isn't that what you wanted? I watched him clench the steering wheel. What I wanted. Just say what you need to say. He suddenly reached out and tightly grasped my hand. Chapter 13. Not coming back tonight? Did something happen? Did you run into Michael? I took a deep breath and glanced at the man pouring water. So, you really did run into him. Is that why you're not coming back? Isabella, has your brain been stuck in a door? You finally started over, and now you're going back to get hurt by him again. Is that your cousin? I didn't know when Michael had approached. Give me the phone. He reached out and took the phone from me. Cousin, it's me, Michael. The voice on the other end grew increasingly agitated as Michael took the phone out to the balcony. I withdrew my gaze. Looking around the room, I remembered that the day I left, the place had been covered in dust. Now, it was spotless and bright. 10 minutes later, Michael came back and handed me the phone. Why aren't you drinking your tea? I remember you used to love making this. I frowned slightly. Get some rest. Tomorrow morning, we'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. After that, I have to get back to the pharmacy. My cousin can't handle it alone. Which room should I sleep in? The agreement had been prepared a year ago. I didn't want this house anymore. And now, sitting here, I was just a guest. At the seaside. He had smoked a cigarette at the end. Even if you want to leave, at least go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and get the divorce certificate. I didn't know when he had picked up the smoking habit. His body stiffened. The phone on the coffee table lit up. It was a message from the discussion group. Did everyone see Isabella at David's wedding today? How could you miss her? She's so noticeable. They say doctors are usually busy. I didn't realize these people could have so much free time. I wonder what she's doing back here. Could she be trying to win Michael back? Michael picked up his phone. After a moment, the group chat was disbanded. There's a new barbecue place that opened downstairs. It's pretty good. Want to have some late-night snacks? I stood up. I'll sleep in the study. You should rest early. Tomorrow, we'll get in line early. The study hadn't changed at all, but lying there, it no longer felt like home. The barbecue is ready. Come out and have some. I didn't respond, pretending to be asleep. After a moment of silence, I heard footsteps retreat. From the study window, I could see a corner of the living room, still lit. At midnight, the living room light finally went out. At dawn, I got up. There was no movement from the master bedroom, so I sat in the living room, waiting for him. As the sun rose higher and higher, still no movement from the master bedroom. I checked the time and knocked on the door. No answer. I frowned and looked at the entrance, finally noticing his house slippers neatly placed by the door. I immediately pushed open the bedroom door, but there was no one inside. When I came out, I finally saw the note on the dining table. Emergency at the hospital. I've gone to the hospital. There's breakfast in the thermos. Make sure to eat. I put down the note. I glanced at the thermos beside it, opened it, and found meat buns on the top layer and millet and red date porridge on the bottom. I wasn't in the mood for breakfast. When I called him, he was busy, with no other choice. I went to the hospital. At the hospital, I was told he was in surgery. I could only wait in his office for him. Chapter 14. His brother, Victor, came in. He looked like he had just finished a night shift. We made brief eye contact, and then I looked away in disgust. Victor had always been the one who supported Michael and Emily the most. This time, however, he didn't mock me. Michael can't leave the operating table for now. If you're bored, you can use his computer. He also opened Michael's drawer and took out a bag of snacks, placing it on the table. These are from Michael. He bought them for you. He grabbed his phone and left again. I was stunned. The bag was filled with the chips I used to love, but I didn't have any appetite. I had not only forgotten those painful memories but had also let go of many unhealthy habits along with them. I ended up waiting until 4 p.m. Michael finally came off the operating table, looking exhausted. When he saw me, he looked a bit surprised. I held up the file in my hand, expressionless. I've been waiting for you. There's only 1 hour left. We need to hurry. Okay, he nodded. Let me just take a quick shower and change clothes. He went to the bathroom. 10 minutes passed, and I grew anxious waiting outside. He came out, towel drying his hair, and pointed to the boxed meal the nurse had just brought in. Give me a moment to eat something, okay? I haven't eaten all day. We're running out of time. He gave a bitter smile. I'll be quick. 5 minutes. I didn't say anything else. He quickly ate a few bites, and as we were about to leave, a nurse rushed over. Dr. Wong, there's an emergency. The patient in bed 3 is experiencing sudden consciousness impairment and respiratory distress. I'll go check on it. He was called away again. Lives were at stake, so I had no reason to stop him, but I couldn't help feeling frustrated. Chapter 15. By the time he returned, it was already 6 p.m. and the Civil Affairs Bureau had been closed for an hour. Facing my questioning gaze, he glanced at the time. Sorry. The patient had a fat embolism and needed immediate treatment. I didn't know what to say. I was furious. But the patient had needed him, and that was a fact. Arrange your work. I don't want any delays tomorrow. I'll find a hotel to stay in tonight. Isabella? Just as I was about to leave, another doctor came over. When I saw who it was, I was momentarily stunned. Dr. Lou. He glanced at my leg and smiled. That's great. No lasting effects. I haven't seen you in the hospital for a year, and I even asked Michael why you haven't come. Dr. Lou was over a decade older than Michael and his peers and was considered a senior in their department. I looked at Michael. Did Dr. Lou not know that Michael and I had been separated for a long time? You've recovered well, so I'm relieved. Come on. Tonight I'm treating the department to dinner. Michael, bring your wife along. Sorry. I have something to do tonight. You all go ahead. Dr. Lou's face immediately stiffened. What? You don't even respect me? I owed my life to him at that time, so refusing him felt rude. All right. Through their conversation, I understood that Dr. Lou had been promoted to department head, and this was his celebratory dinner. As people gathered, there were surprised glances directed at me, but this time, Michael seemed intent on protecting me, standing by my side the whole time. I rode in Michael's car. In the car, I silently looked out the window. Michael gently took my hand. His hand was warm. Mine was cold. Are you still angry? I turned my head back. I tried to pull my hand away, but he held it tighter instead. Then, realizing, he let go. I'm sorry. I withdrew my hand, placing it on my lap. Didn't you tell them that we're no longer together? Except for that one time I mentioned to Victor, after having too much to drink, that you had given me the divorce papers. No one else knows. If anyone asked about you, I said you were traveling. So, apart from our old classmates, no one knew that we hadn't seen each other in a year and that this meeting was for a divorce. There's coke in the glove compartment. I don't want any. Your tastes have completely changed. I didn't respond, just opened my phone and started scrolling. Chapter 16. When we arrived at the private room, everyone took their seats and ordered food. Some people had brought their spouses. I couldn't fit into the atmosphere. I ate in silence. Michael served me food twice, but I left the dishes untouched. He served the things I used to like. If even my taste in snacks had changed, how could he think I still liked the same dishes as before? Dr. Lou suddenly addressed me. Isabella, why are you so quiet? Just eating? You haven't said a word. It's been a year, and Isabella seems like a completely different person. She used to be so talkative. In the past, Michael and I would attend these gatherings together. Back then, I was full of enthusiasm for our marriage and tried my best to fit in with the others. I used to sit beside Michael, acting naturally and building good relationships with everyone. No matter the topic, I would make an effort to join in the conversation. I put down my chopsticks and smiled. Sorry. It's been a while since I've eaten at this restaurant, and I've been indulging in the food. Dr. Lou shook his head. No, I see it differently. It seems like you two have had a fight. Isabella, it looks like you're upset with Dr. Wong. This reminds me of how I act when I fight with my wife. Isabella, tell me, did you go on a trip and Dr. Wong couldn't join you? That's my fault. I filled his schedule with work and didn't give him time to be with you. I promise I'll make sure he has more time for you. I felt embarrassed at being called out, even though we were about to divorce. I didn't want to make a scene right now. There's no need. Dr. Lou, that's his job. Are you worried that while you were away, Dr. Wong might have been flirting with someone else? I can assure you, he's been very proper. I've never seen him speak more than a few words to any woman in private. I frowned. Emily had returned, and he hadn't spoken to any women? How could that be possible? But Dr. Lou insisted. I wouldn't lie in front of everyone. Chapter 17. Midway through the dinner, I got up to go to the bathroom. I splashed some cold water on my face. Dr. Lou's wife, Mrs. Young, also came into the bathroom and smiled at me. Mrs. Young, I nodded. It's been a long time. You've lost some weight. Mrs. Young patted my shoulder. Can you tell me what's going on between you and Dr. Wong? The girl who used to look at Dr. One with shining eyes seems to have lost that light. I knew Mrs. Young was concerned about our relationship. Mrs. Young. I don't have any feelings for him anymore. Mrs. Yang's mouth opened in surprise, and she fell silent for a moment. I don't know exactly what's going on between you two, but I can tell he cares about you. During the time you were in a coma after the accident, if he wasn't sent out of town, he spent the nights at the hospital watching over you. Especially during your time in the ICU, he slept by your bedside. When you had the accident and were brought to the hospital, he was in another province, assisting in a surgery with the director. As soon as he heard about your accident, he rushed out of the meeting and came back immediately. Because of that, the entire hospital reprimanded him. I was completely stunned. Had he really stayed by my side while I was in a coma? Mrs. Young sighed. I don't understand it either. He clearly cares about you, but he was never there when you woke up. Several times, when my husband was on night duty and I passed by your room, I saw him sitting by your bedside. Mrs. Young patted my shoulder. Don't rush to make a decision. Maybe there are misunderstandings between you two that haven't been cleared up. Chapter 18. Mrs. Young left first. I took a call and then left the bathroom. At the door of the private room, Michael was waiting. Are you feeling unwell? I can go in and let them know, and we can leave. I glanced inside, and it seemed like the dinner was almost over. I'm not unwell. Let's finish up and leave together. Half an hour later, the dinner ended. At the hotel entrance, everyone said their goodbyes and drove off one by one. On the way, I looked toward a nearby hotel. Drop me off here. I'll stay at the hotel tonight. Let's meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow at 8. Tomorrow is the weekend. The Civil Affairs Bureau is closed. I immediately opened my phone to check the date. I was really distracted. I hadn't noticed tomorrow was the weekend. Let's go back home. I snapped. Michael, can you respect me? You've been dragging me around all day. Do you think this is fun? He was silent for a moment, then looked up. If someone's staying at a hotel, it'll be me. You designed the house with such care. It's yours. I'll take you home first. That night, as promised, he dropped me off at the garage and then drove away. But the next morning, when I went downstairs to buy breakfast, I saw his Volvo parked outside. I averted my eyes and headed upstairs. He got out of the car. I got a call from my dad. It's his birthday today, and he wants us to come over for a meal. There's no need to go. His heart has relapsed twice. He really wants you to visit. I clenched the soy milk in my hand and quickened my pace upstairs. I'll wait for you downstairs. When I got upstairs, my phone rang again. I ignored it. The phone vibrated twice more. Isabella, please come back and have a meal, okay? Dad asked Auntie to make all your favorite dishes. A few days ago, I was diagnosed with pulmonary congestion. Adding up all my illnesses, I might not have many years left. I know I failed you and your mother, and you hate me, and you should. But Dad still cares about you. He just wants to see if Michael is treating you well and if he's taking good care of you. I turned off my phone and tossed it aside. Chapter 19. When we arrived at the Wong family home, Michael opened the trunk and took the canned goods from my hands. This is heavy. Let me carry it. Margot, who was playing in the yard, glanced at us and then ran inside. Dad, sister is here. Before entering the house, I watched Michael's back for a moment. I felt a bit puzzled. In the photo album I made, there's a picture of me with my parents. I once saw him holding my dad's picture with a strange look in his eyes, almost as if it were hatred. I had once tried to subtly ask him if he knew my dad. He used work as an excuse and avoided discussing the topic. I snapped out of my thoughts and followed him inside. Sister is here? My dad looked towards the door, his voice tinged with excitement. Lisa, come out quickly. Isabella is here. A woman wearing an apron hurried out of the kitchen, my stepmother in name. You're back home. No need to bring anything. Give me the stuff. You two go sit in the living room. The last 2 dishes will be ready soon. We sat in the living room, and the silence was heavy. Ever since my dad's affair destroyed our family, I hadn't called him Dad. Next to him, I noticed he had an enforced stand, receiving fluids. That was unexpected. His face no longer looked healthy. As soon as I sat down, I felt the urge to get up and walk around outside. Michael came over, sat next to me, and held my hand. Your previous surgery was successful. Why has it recurred? Auntie brought over a fruit plate and tea. Now that you're here, please talk to him. At his age, he shouldn't be working so hard. The last time it happened, he collapsed in less than a minute. I was so scared I could barely dial 120. It's not that serious. All right. Go watch the stove. Don't listen to your aunt. She likes to exaggerate. The doctor said that as long as I rest properly, there's no major issue. I stood up. I'm going to take a walk outside. He then instructed Marco, who was playing nearby. Marco, go accompany your sister outside. Marco dropped his Lego. Okay. Marco trotted out with me. From the look in his eyes, I could tell he was unfamiliar with me, yet he seemed to want to get closer. I couldn't help but think how fortunate Alex was. Even after being unfaithful, he still found someone who understood him, and this woman even gave him a well-behaved child. Lisa wasn't Alex's affair partner. She came into his life 3 years after his affair partner left him for a younger, wealthier man. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come back today. He scratched his fingers. Do you want to see the goldfish I'm raising in the stone tank? Let's go take a look. If you feed them too much, they'll die from overeating. Huh? But they eat everything I give them. They won't refuse food when they see it. As their owner, you have to control how much they eat. How much should I feed each one? They're still small, so 3 to 5 pellets per fish should be enough. I'll remember that. Sister, brother is here. I turned to see Michael walking over. Brother, sister is teaching me how to feed the goldfish. I didn't know feeding them too much could kill them. Michael ruffled his hair. Dinner's ready. Let's go inside and eat. Chapter 20. During dinner, things took a turn. Suddenly, my dad clutched his chest in pain. Marco, quickly, go to the living room and bring your dad's emergency heart medicine. Auntie helped him anxiously. Marco brought the medicine, and I took it, quickly giving him a pill. This meal was clearly over. Michael carried him to the bedroom and laid him flat. The family doctor arrived as well. By the time everything was settled, it was almost dark. As I stepped out of the bedroom, I looked at the swaying branches outside, and someone draped a coat over my shoulders. Michael, it's drafty here. Be careful not to catch a cold. The doctor came out. I asked him, how is he? Is there any danger? The situation isn't good. You should stay here tonight, just in case something happens. Auntie came out and agreed. Yes, stay the night. I panic easily when something happens, and I can't make decisions. I'll feel more at ease with you young people here. Isabella, your room has always been kept for you. I only go in once a week to clean. I haven't touched anything inside. I hesitated for a moment but then nodded and agreed to stay. Chapter 21. Auntie didn't know about the situation between Michael and me, so she didn't arrange a separate room for him. I didn't want them getting involved in our issues, so I decided to make do for one night. In the shower, I accidentally slipped. Michael rushed in when he heard the noise, and I was soaking wet, with nothing to cover myself. Did you fall? I must have twisted my ankle because it hurt intensely, but I stayed seated, covering my chest. It's nothing, just go out first. Michael frowned, grabbed a towel from the rack, wrapped it around me, and stubbornly lifted me up. You twisted your ankle. Let me carry you out first. After he placed me on the bed, I quickly grabbed the blanket and wrapped myself up. Michael left. Auntie, do you have any medicinal liquor? Yes. I heard Isabella's voice earlier. Did she get hurt? Michael quickly brought a bottle of red medicinal liquor and poured some into his hand. By the time he finished his shower and came out, I had already closed my eyes. Soon, the other side of the bed dipped as he lay down, pretending to be asleep. I could feel him moving closer. Then, becoming bolder, he pulled me into his arms. I pretended for a while, but I couldn't keep it up and opened my eyes, staring straight at him. He froze for a moment, then leaned down and kissed me passionately. His kiss was gentle, tender, and made me want to sink into it. It wasn't until I realized what I was doing that I pushed him away and gasped for breath. Staring at the ceiling in a daze, I smiled. but tears flowed from the corners of my eyes. What was he doing? We were married for 2 years. And he hated me. Now that we're getting divorced, he's showing me all this tenderness. Just like earlier when he rubbed my foot after I twisted my ankle. His touch was incredibly gentle. It's all over. And yet he still kisses me tenderly, pulling me back in. Does he want me to chase after him for another 2 years? When he saw my tears, he seemed a bit panicked and reached out to wipe them away. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I made you cry. You can hit me, yell at me. Just don't cry, okay? I tilted my head back, forcing the tears to stop. Why, Michael? Mrs. Young said that when I was in a coma after the car accident, you stayed by my side. Is that true? After a moment of silence, he nodded. I sat up and questioned him. Why didn't you let me know? Why didn't you come during the day? Why did you let me misunderstand you? Was the daytime version of me someone you couldn't bear to see? He pulled me into his arms. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I hurt you, but in my heart, you've always been the most important person. Believe that? Just from a few words? For 2 years, you were cold to me like ice. No matter how much I tried to warm you up, it was as if I was the person you hated most. How can I believe you? It's my fault for not recognizing my own feelings in time. And you, the innocent one, got hurt because of it. I couldn't listen anymore and pushed him away. After a few seconds of silence, he took a pillow and got out of bed. Don't get upset. I'll sleep on the couch. Chapter 22. I went downstairs early in the morning. I stared at the figure sitting on the sofa, momentarily stunned. The man turned slightly and smiled at me. You're up. What are you doing here? I hadn't seen Daniel in many years. I once considered him half a brother. He stood up. I heard Uncle Chin hasn't been well lately, so I came to check on him. He had matured a lot. He used to love flashy clothes, but now he was wearing formal attire. The mischievousness he once had was gone. I'll ask the maid to take you upstairs. He walked up to me. What about you? Won't you take me up yourself? I took a step back. At that moment, Michael came in with the doctor. Daniel glanced sideways and saw Michael as well. I'll go up first. Michael entered, glanced at Daniel going upstairs, and his expression instantly darkened. His fists clenched tightly. I was puzzled. I had never seen Michael in this state before. When he noticed me looking at him, he returned to his usual self. He opened the bag in his hand and took out a pair of white slippers. On the way back with the doctor, I passed by a supermarket and picked up a pair of soft slippers. Try them on. With a twisted ankle, the softer the shoes, the better. He squatted down, signaling me to sit down so he could help me change my shoes. The maid came over and removed the teacup from the table, teasing us. You two really are a lovely couple. I can do it myself. As I bent down to change my shoes, I recalled the look Michael had given Daniel earlier. I glanced up at Michael. Was there enmity between him and Daniel? Daniel was in my father's room for nearly an hour before coming downstairs. He glanced at me, and his gaze finally settled on Michael. Shall we talk? Let's talk outside. The two of them went out to the courtyard. I watched them from inside, wondering what they could possibly talk about. In my memory, the two had no connection, but the tension between them was palpable, something that anyone could sense. I remember back in college, Daniel came to see me once and met Michael, but Michael didn't say much to him and left for the library. Did they meet again after that? Marco came over with a ball, looking up at me. Sis, can you play soccer with me? I nodded. Okay. The ball rolled towards where the two were talking, so I went to pick it up. I heard you haven't been treating Isabella well these past few years. You have no right to comment on our marriage. No right? If it weren't for you, I would have married her. She would never marry you. Anyone could see that she only saw you as a brother, not as a lover. She likes you. But what did you give her? Endless coldness? Pain? If it were me, I wouldn't let her suffer. You think I wanted to? If it weren't for you guys driving me crazy, warning me off, and then pressuring my father, I wouldn't have struggled with the conflict and let her get hurt. On one side, the person I love most. On the other, the father who raised me. Who do you think I should choose? How could my conscience be at ease? Daniel was silent for a long time. I felt a chill down my spine as I finally heard his voice. I'm sorry. If we had known that you wouldn't let her go in the end, we wouldn't have pressured you so much. Ha. And you think a simple sorry will bring my father back to life? Thud. The soccer ball fell from my hands. The two men turned around, shocked. Isabella, when did you get here? There was a momentary crack in both of their eyes. What were you talking about? I felt a coldness throughout my body as if I were submerged in ice. I stared at Michael. What do you mean by bring my father back to life? Daniel, what did you do to Michael's father? No. What did you all do? Who else is involved? What have you been hiding from me? I had a premonition that the truth behind this would be unbearable, but I had to face it. Michael never mentioned his father in front of me. Whenever I asked, he would get impatient. Michael gently placed his hand on my shoulder. Don't get upset. Calm down, and I'll explain everything. I want to know now. Please, tell me. Daniel spoke up. I'm sorry, Isabella. It's me. I liked you for a long time, but you only saw me as a brother. When you fell for Michael, I was young and impulsive. I thought Michael didn't deserve you, so I tried to humiliate him with money, telling him to stay away from you, but he didn't take a penny and told me not to play childish games. I felt insulted. What right did he have to act so proud? I became furious and, after finding out he had a father working in this city, I hired some people to beat his father severely. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I slapped Daniel hard across the face. Bastard. Daniel's face froze on one side. I'm sorry, Isabella. If it makes you feel better, you can slap me as many times as you want. Hitting you would only dirty my hands. You're inhuman. Do you even realize that it wasn't Michael who stayed away from me? I liked him. I approached him. You beat him and, heartlessly, attacked his father too. Why didn't you just kill me first? Isabella, get out! I never want to see you again. Hate me if you want. Over the years, I've suspected that Michael's coldness towards you was because of his father, and I've been tormented by it. I know I ruined your happiness with my own hands, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you. I knew that once you found out the truth, you'd hate me to the core. Now that it's out, at least I'm relieved. I was the one in the wrong, and I'm the one who should pay for it. I hope you two stop hurting each other and be happy together. Wait, who else is involved? Besides you? No one. It's just me. You misheard. I smirked. Believe me, or not, I've already figured it out. Daniel turned back. It's really just me. Don't overthink it. He looked at Michael for support. Michael nodded. There was no one else. I wished Michael was telling the truth, that there was no one else. But how could I have misheard? It turns out Michael truly loves me. At this moment, he wants nothing more than to protect me and not pursue the truth any further. It was my father, wasn't it? You two came up with this together. Beat Michael's father, hoping Michael would hate me. My dad has always liked you. He mentioned more than once that he would feel at ease if he could entrust me to you in the future. I was met with silence. The truth, when unveiled, was bloody. Chapter 23. I couldn't process any of it. Maybe, for the rest of my life, I'll never be able to digest this fact. It's all in the past. Don't dwell on it anymore. Let's cherish the present, okay? Michael cupped my face, pressing his forehead against mine. How can we cherish the present? Michael, your father was harmed by mine. Today, I finally understood his hatred for me. I had imagined 1,000 reasons, but I never thought it would be something so unbearable. Michael explained. No, my father died of cancer. Not from the beating. Those were just superficial injuries. I couldn't take it in. There's no need to hide it for them anymore. When I stood by Alex's bed, he already had a premonition. You know everything? You must have hoped I'd never find out. I suddenly understand why your condition kept deteriorating. It's karma. The maid felt sorry for him. Isabella, don't speak to your father that way. He's always regretted what happened. His intention was for you to marry someone trustworthy, someone he knew well, because he was worried you might suffer. I sneered. Marrying someone I don't love isn't suffering? So, your way of loving me was to hurt the person I love. From now on, Don't call me to play the victim. If you have any conscience left, you shouldn't be calling Michael either. His father has been dead for years. Yet here you are, using the most expensive medicine, lying on $1 million mattress, still trying to manipulate Michael. He's a person. Can you imagine the pain he feels every time he faces you, knowing you treated his father like dirt? I'm sorry, Isabella. I know I was wrong. I don't dare hope for forgiveness from you or Michael, but my only wish now is that you don't let this affect your lives. Live well. From beginning to end, you were innocent. It was my mistake, and I deserve the consequences. There are no regrets in this world. Once happiness is shattered, it can never be pieced together again. I laughed bitterly through my tears. And you still hope Michael and I will have a good life? How can you be so cruel? You won't even let his father rest in peace. Chapter 24. I ran out of the house. Like a wandering soul, I drifted aimlessly through the streets. I wanted to get up, to breathe fresh air, but an unseen force seemed to pull me down, dragging me further into despair. After Michael's father passed away, he returned to school after handling the funeral, but he remained deeply depressed. At the time, I knew nothing, only that Michael's father had died. I wanted to be there for him, so I waited for him outside his dormitory. Victor once scolded me, "Isabella, stay away from Michael. Let him go." Do you know how pitiful Michael's father was? When he died, his body was still covered in bruises. Pour another. Do you really want more? You're already drunk. Not drunk. Fill it up. I had no other way to numb myself, so I drank until my mind was oxygen deprived, trying not to think about anything. I didn't know how else to escape the pain. Welcome, sir. What would you like to drink? I'm looking for someone. Enough. Let's go home. In my blurred vision, I saw a tall figure that looked just like Michael. Michael, why are you here? Please, don't show up again. I'm too ashamed to face you. I grabbed his arm again, trying to roll up his sleeve. How did they beat you? Does it still hurt? Was that why you took several days off? To recover in the hospital? You are my favorite person. They beat you, and it hurt me more than if they had beaten me. I'm sorry, Michael. I apologize on behalf of my father. Please don't hate me, okay? No, your father is already dead, and we're married now, so he's my father too. You won't forgive me. It would have been better if you had never met me. Then my father wouldn't have died. Please, stop being good to me. I can't bear it. Shoo. Let's go home. I felt my body lift, as if floating in the air. Chapter 25. The next day, I woke up with a splitting headache. Sunlight filtered through the light curtains, making my eyes ache. As I regained consciousness, the truth that had been revealed yesterday became painfully clear in my mind once again. I realized that this was my and Michael's marital home. I didn't know how to face Michael, so I tried to get out of bed and leave. The door opened. Michael came in, smiling. You're awake. I made you some soup to help with the hangover. It's ready for you to drink. He ladled some into a spoon and brought it to my lips. The better he treated me, the harder it was to bear. I pushed him away. Michael, you don't need to be so kind to me. You're my wife. Who else should I be kind to? I glanced at the papers on the table and picked them up. We should stick to our agreement and go to the Civil Affairs Bureau on Monday to end our marriage. He lowered his head in silence. I need to go for a walk. As I got out of bed, he grabbed my hand. So, you're going to leave me? It's not about leaving. I just can't face you anymore. We're the ones who wronged you. I'm really sorry about your father, but there's nothing I can do to make it right beyond apologizing. Let's stop torturing ourselves. Emily is a better match for you. It's convenient that she's back. He frowned slightly. Is this because you saw us together at the wedding? You misunderstood. Yesterday, at David's wedding, Emily and I only met at the entrance. We didn't interact beyond that. You saw her standing next to me and thought we were together, right? And did you ever think about why I ultimately chose to marry you? You probably think I did it to get back at your father, right? But what if I told you it was because I love you so much that even my conscience couldn't stop me from being with you? Would you believe me? I pressed my lips together. Michael, I know I didn't treat you right after we got married. I didn't fulfill my responsibilities as a husband because I was constantly torn apart inside. I wanted to keep you close, but I also hated your father. Sometimes, I felt like I was going to break. When you had that car accident, I was out of town. When I heard about it, I was stunned. I rushed back, seeing you lying in the operating room, unconscious, and I felt like my world was falling apart. And when I found out the accident happened because you ran a red light while mentally distressed, I felt even more guilty. My coldness towards you made you doubt yourself, leaving you lost. I hated myself. I thought, once you woke up, we should get a divorce. Being with me only brings you pain, so I didn't dare give you any more hope. I knew you would get back on your feet. You're strong at your core, but when you brought out those divorce papers and were about to push me away, I felt like my heart was bleeding. I realized then that no amount of hate could compare to the value of having you by my side. I knew I couldn't sign those divorce papers. I can't lose you, but your heart is already dead. After you left, I searched for you everywhere. Finally, I found you in a small town in the south. You had opened a pharmacy, and you were doing better every day. I had hurt you so much that I didn't have the courage to appear in front of you and shatter your peace. When I heard Maria was getting married, I was excited. I guessed that you would come back for her wedding, and then we would finally meet again. At the wedding, I saw you again. Inside, I was so thrilled, but I tried to stay calm. I didn't know how to approach you or what to say to start a conversation naturally. When I saw you were leaving, I panicked and ran after you, grabbing your hand. This time, I couldn't let you go. Michael's grip on my hand tightened. I could feel how desperately he wanted to keep me. But your father is dead. With that factor in play, you'll always carry that burden in your heart. My father died of brain cancer. He was seriously injured that time, but they were all superficial wounds. You have to believe me. But what your father did has always haunted me. Then why did you keep taking his calls? Why did you go back with me to see him? He didn't deserve it. Because, from the beginning, we both loved you so much. Back then, he was afraid that being with me would mean you couldn't have the life you wanted. He wanted you to marry well. Any other father would have been upset if their precious daughter wanted to marry a medical student with no background, and they would have tried everything to keep you apart. You may have seemed cold and distant to him, not wanting to talk, but I could see that you wished he could be healthy and free from suffering. Actually, your father talked to me early on, warning me to stay away from you. He said he had already chosen your future husband, someone with a good family background, someone you had known since childhood. You, not knowing any of this, kept coming to me, clever and adorable. I bit my tongue and rejected you 3 times, but you didn't give up. You have no idea how hard it was for me to turn you down each time. When Daniel came to see you at school, I could see you only saw him as a brother and didn't like him romantically. Ironically, he had some guys beat me up and warn me to stay away from you or else. He didn't realize that his actions made it clear what kind of person he was: arrogant and overbearing. If you two had gotten married, he wouldn't have respected your feelings. I couldn't trust him with you. But in the end, how am I any better than him? After we got married, my coldness hurt you the most. From the start, you were innocent, yet you bore the greatest pain. If you still want a divorce, I'll respect your decision. Suddenly, he smiled again. At first, because of some bad rumors about you in the school, I just wanted to stay away from you. I assumed you were a little delinquent, but you had a certain pride, and despite your shyness, you kept approaching me. After spending time with you, I realized that you were nothing like the vicious, domineering girl the rumors made you out to be. On the contrary, you were not only beautiful but also kind-hearted. I secretly watched you study by the nameless lake, bandaging the injured leg of a stray cat on campus, and donating your pocket money to a disabled beggar on the street. Those rumors were just made up by girls who knew they couldn't compete with you and wanted to push you out with baseless accusations. From beginning to end, the only person I've ever loved is you. As for Emily, in the beginning, I only spoke to her to reject you. She came to talk to me, and we exchanged a few words. The rumor that we were childhood sweethearts started just because we took the same train to the hospital on registration day. Do you remember? The last time you asked me whether I wanted you to go abroad and leave me forever, or marry you and let you stay in my life. After thinking about it all night, I grabbed your hand and said, "Let's get married. If only you could give me the same choice again, how wonderful would that be?" I lifted my head slightly, but in the end, I pulled my hand away from Michael's. Chapter 26. Let me hold on to this document for now. He pulled the divorce papers from my hand. I hope you'll reconsider. Isabella. Just remember, I love you and want to grow old with you. I left and wandered aimlessly through the streets, until my phone rang. Isabella, are you back yet? Cousin, what's wrong? Can you come back quickly? Emma is missing. I've searched everywhere and can't find her. Please come help me look. I was shocked. How could Emma be missing? I'm coming back right away. Thankfully, it was just a scare. I hurried back. And before dawn, my cousin and I found Emma asleep in the park. My divorce with Michael was temporarily put on hold. Another 6 months passed. The sky was bright blue that day. I organized the medicines on the shelf and returned to the cashier's desk. I received a message from Michael. Isabella, our team won the grand prize at the last Medical Olympics. The hospital has rewarded our group with an all-expenses-paid 10-day trip to Sonia. And we can bring family members. Will you come with me? Doctor, my stomach hurts. Do you have anything for it? I put down my phone. Yes. Chapter 27. At the edge of the soft beach, I adjusted my hat and took a few landscape photos with my phone. Hey, beautiful. Can I get your contact info? I was just thinking of how to refuse when I felt an arm wrap around my waist. Sorry. She's already taken. I turned around, stunned as our eyes met. I huffed and turned my head away, trying to play it cool. How did you know it was me? I never said I was coming. I could tell by your silhouette. How could I not recognize the one I love? Then why didn't you come to find me earlier? I didn't know anyone here and was so bored. The man in the floral shirt who had asked for my number had already turned and left. He pulled my hat brim lower. He kissed my lips, then pressed his forehead against mine. Earlier? You just got to the beach, and I wanted to see you sooner. But you showed up 2 days late. I was already planning to leave. Already planning to leave? Yeah, I thought you weren't coming, so I was about to fly to your city to visit you at the pharmacy. Wouldn't that be a bad trade? 10 days of vacation here, all expenses paid. Without you, even the most fun place loses its charm. He lightly bit my earlobe again. Extra chapter. Chapter 1. 3 months later, I handed over the pharmacy to my cousin. She hired someone to manage the store. I returned to Baicheng and successfully joined the pharmacy department at the 3rd hospital. Every day, I could go to and from work with Michael. One night, Michael and I were sleeping. His phone lit up. He picked it up, replied, and put it down. I asked casually, "Who's messaging you so late?" "Someone unimportant." In the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom, with a small light on. I glanced at his phone and unlocked it. The chat window popped up. His phone had my face registered for recognition. Emily, Michael. I'm so scared. Can you come and keep me company? Talk me through this? Michael, I'm not obligated to. Chapter 2. The first Qingming festival after we reconciled. Qingming festival is coming up soon. This time, you're not going to sneak back alone to sweep your father's grave. I'm coming with you. All right. Let's drive back together. On the way, Michael suddenly asked me, "What are you thinking about?" I looked at him, a bit silent. Maybe my father doesn't want to see me. He's seen you before. When? Back in college. That night you were dragging me to watch the stars on the field. He came to the school to see me. Was it the night I went to the bathroom and couldn't find you afterward? Yes. That night, you went to the bathroom, and he came over to tell me that he was working in the city and decided to visit me. Actually, he had already seen us. Seeing that you were there, he didn't want to disturb us. He brought me some clothes, and I went back to the dormitory with him to put them away. Oh, that night, I think I bit your arm. I hope he didn't see that. It was frustrating. The news had predicted a meteor shower that night, and I wanted him to watch it with me, but he was particularly cold to me during that time. Even though he had been fine with me before, he had taken a short break and come back home, but he had turned cold as ice again. I was angry, so I grabbed his hand as he tried to leave, bit him, and then hid in the bathroom. He raised an eyebrow. Do you think he didn't see it? I instantly felt my face flush with heat. That was his first impression of me, and it wasn't a good one. He must not have liked me very much. After a moment, Michael chuckled. Do you know? After that, he increased my living expenses by 500 yuan a month. Why? He said you looked too skinny and told me to make sure you were eating well. So, Dad thought I was your girlfriend back then? So, you didn't deny it. Huh? You considered me your girlfriend from the start, but you never acknowledged it in school. You're so difficult. And am I as difficult as you? Remember our first date? Someone wore high heels, got blisters, and still pretended to be fine in front of me to look ladylike. Bringing up old, embarrassing stories. Huh? Dad gave you an extra 500 a month to take care of me, but I never saw you even buy me a bottle of water. He tapped the steering wheel with his fingers. Because you wouldn't listen. How was I not listening? Ever since I met you, I've become much more agreeable. I don't even have a temper in front of you. Did you stop drinking soda when I told you to? Did you stop buying me things when I asked you not to? I silently shut my mouth. I felt a bit wronged. We were still students back then, and it wasn't like I drank soda all the time, just occasionally. And when I bought things for him, it was because I thought they suited him and really wanted to get them for him. He suddenly handed me a card. Here, this is for you. I was confused. Why are you giving me a card? This card has the 500 yuan Dad gave me each month for you. I opened an account and saved it all in here. Now, it's yours. Buy whatever you want. I was stunned as I took the thin card, my heart filled with a bittersweet feeling. This card held the acknowledgement from Michael's father. Although Michael's father wasn't a prominent figure, he was a respected train driver. Did Dad ever know who beat him up? They warned him to keep his son away from you. What do you think? Then Dad must have hated me and disapproved of our relationship. In his life, he never did anything particularly notable, but his greatest trait was his sense of right and wrong. He would never blame a young girl who didn't know anything. Michael slowed down the car and pulled over to the side of the road. He took my hand, the one that had been injured by a scalpel during surgery. Especially not when that girl hurt her hand for his son and even gave up her beloved career. With such a wonderful girl, how could I ever let go? I was shocked. How did you find out? When that scalpel fell, it cut my index finger. Everyone thought it was just because I happened to be standing there. But in reality, I had deliberately reached out to block the sharp scalpel, preventing it from falling onto Michael's head. My hand was instantly stained with blood. I always thought it was just an accident until a similar incident happened in the operating room, and I realized you had intentionally protected me from disaster. The scalpel had slipped due to Emily's improper handling, and Michael was right there, adjusting the lifting device. I was also there, and as I raised my hand, the blade sliced into my index finger. Though I received prompt treatment, the cut went deep to the bone, and after the stitches were removed, my hand trembled slightly when holding a scalpel. The operating table is a serious and sacred place, leaving no room for carelessness. So, I had to give up my dream of becoming a surgeon, but I didn't regret it. If someone had to give up their dream that day, I would have chosen myself. Whether in terms of passion or skill, Michael would always go further than I could in the field of medicine. Among our batch of interns at the hospital, he was the most outstanding. The department head admired him greatly. Emily made a mistake and was sent back to school by the hospital. No other hospital wanted her, and feeling humiliated, she volunteered for an assignment in Africa. But she was a master manipulator of public opinion. Despite her incompetence and the disaster she caused, the story turned into me forcing her out of the country to monopolize Michael. Fortunately, bad people rarely meet a good end. I heard she was later diagnosed with uremia. Chapter 3. On the way back, I glanced at the date, suddenly realizing something, and gently placed my hand on my belly. Michael noticed and asked, "What's wrong?" I smiled, teasing him with a little mystery. "What do you think?" Michael froze for a moment, then got excited. "Could it be? There's a hospital up ahead. Let's go check." After the examination, The doctor handed us the results with a smile. Congratulations. You're pregnant. At the wrap party, the crowd cheered for Oscar and Alicia to kiss like they did in the drama. The two exchanged glances and smiled knowingly. The next second, they were glued together. Amid the excited screams,